Hey everyone, welcome back to the Living in Maryland channel. And today we're discussing my favorite season here in Maryland, which is fall. And I figured I'd come out to one of my favorite spots, which is Patapsco State Park here. This is where my wife, my son and I love to get outdoors, do some hiking, check out the river. So I figured we'd film right from here, and let's get started right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Living in Maryland channel, where we discuss all things living here in the great state of Maryland. So if that's the kind of information you're looking for, then you are definitely in the right spot, and we really appreciate you being here. And if you are thinking about making a move here to Maryland with your family, if you're wondering whether purchasing a home is the right decision for you and your family, we absolutely love having those conversations. So however you feel comfortable reaching out, whether that's by phone, text, or email, days, nights, and weekends, we've got your back when moving here to the great state of Maryland. All right, so as I mentioned, I'm standing here in Patapsco State Park, which is definitely at the top of my list as far as places to go and things to do when the weather cools down. And speaking of that, one of my favorite things to do is just getting outdoors, including coming here, doing hiking, doing anything that requires getting outside is one of my favorite things to do here in fall. When it comes to weather, I'm, a Southern California boy, born and raised, so I'm used to heat, especially all summer long. So when it comes to fall here in Maryland, it really starts cooling down and it's much more comfortable. So we kind of get it all in Maryland. You're going to hear from a lot of people that the weather does not know how to make up its mind here in Maryland, which is 100% accurate and 100% true. So you're going to see days in the low 70s. You're going to see days in the 60s and even in the mid 50s. And honestly, that's my favorite. When it's in the mid 50s, when the sun's out, it's still so comfortable to be outside, but it's also pretty cool and just really refreshing. So anything that, requires getting outdoors, whether it's running around in the yard with my son or getting out into the woods, doing some hiking, doing anything active outside is my favorite activity come fall time. Another thing I love in the fall is naturally going to be the leaves changing. It's always a beautiful time of the year. The downside of that is that you have to deal with it in your yard, right? So for me, I've always, in the past, I've always tried raking them and doing it myself, but it just ends up taking so much time. So I would probably prepare, especially if you have any kind of yard of size, it's definitely worth hiring that out. So guys can come out here and quickly within an hour, blow all that stuff together and take that away and kind of take that off your list. So that's something that you should be prepared for. They, once they start coming down, it happens so quickly and your yard just gets covered. Another pro though of fall that I love is that you get to stop mowing the yard. So I was used to kind of mowing almost year round in Southern California. So out here, usually around mid to late October, you're going to get your first freeze, and then you're not going to have to mow that grass any longer, and you're going to get a break probably through, I'd say, beginning to mid of April. So it's always kind of nice come fall time that, that you're going to start getting that break from cutting the lawn. Or if you're paying a landscaper, you're going to get a break from paying them whatever it is, 50 to 60 bucks a cut is typically what we see, and they like to do that stuff weekly. So if you're looking into, homes with a yard, that's kind of what you can expect cost-wise if you're going to pay someone to mow the lawn. Next thing that I absolutely love about fall time here in Maryland, especially now that we have an almost 2-year-old, and then we actually just had our second son here about a week ago. So really excited to have 2 boys now. But checking out the local farms and getting out with our son and checking out the pumpkin patches and doing the, picking apples and doing all these things at the local farms is always so much fun. And I definitely wouldn't have thought here in Central Maryland having so many of those close. But there are a handful. We're in Howard County. We've got Gaver Farm, LTV Farm, and then we've got Clark's Elioke Farm, all within about 15 minutes, where you can go and you can check out the farm animals. You can, do the pumpkin patches, corn mazes, picking apples and all this type of activities, which is always fun come this time of year. So definitely something I would check out as well. And then final thing I'll mention about what I love about fall is that you do get a break on utilities as far as the cost of utilities. And this has at least been my experience. So once October 1 hits, you're going to see that weather starting to cool down, normally in the 60s, maybe low 70s. definitely sometimes in the 50s as well, especially during the day. So once it gets to that temperature, especially when the sun's out, and we tend to have a decent amount of sunny days in the fall, it's going to warm up that house naturally. So you're not going to really need as much of the heat. You're not going to need the air conditioning either. So you're going to notice that probably October and November, those bills are going to be a lot lighter than they were in the summer, especially in the late summer. So it's always kind of nice having those couple months where you get a break from that. And then also open window weather. I love fall time for this, especially when it comes to sleeping. Open the windows, getting kind of that really cool breeze inside. It just is my favorite time of year to sleep. I know that's random, but it's definitely something that I love about this time of year. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hope you found this helpful. If you need anything at all, please feel free to reach out anytime, and we'll see you at the next video.